Hello, welcome back to Inside the Tape on Inside the Birds. I'm Jeff Mosher with Adam Kaplan, and of course, to break down the tape from the Eagles' win over the Vikings, the defensive tape, because we already did the offense, is Greg Cosell. And Greg, let's just start it. The Eagles win 28-22.
Yep.
I think a lot of Eagles fans were not surprised to see Carson Wentz doing some really strange footwork things in the pocket, running around, throwing a few picks, getting hit, but then also making some plays, athletic plays, especially in the second half. So you watch the tape. What's the big picture takeaway from the Eagles defense in this game?
It's funny. I think one thing that we need to see the Eagles do better as we go forward is they're not really rushing the quarterback at the level you'd like to see. Mm-hmm. They had 2 sacks. They both came in the fourth quarter in the red zone of all places, which is a good thing. But I would say overall that's an area where they need to improve. Now, there are a couple of things that, were clearly noticeable in this game, what they did with Jihaad Campbell. I mean, in their base defense, he played on the edge. Now, I don't know if that happened, with Ojulari, playing 4 snaps. We don't know that. But ultimately what they did when Ojulari went out after 4 snaps with the hamstring was Campbell ended up being an edge player in their 5-2 base front, and Nakobe Dean played as a stack backer. So I don't know if you guys know what would have happened because Dean ended up playing 31 snaps. So I don't know how that would have played out. Now, there were snaps where Dean did play in the nickel with Bond, and Campbell was not on the field. There were maybe 7 or 8 of those. But, again, we don't know what would have happened if Ojulari didn't get hurt. But that's the way Campbell played. But they did not use Campbell as a pass rusher. He did not have any snaps as an edge player when they were in their nickel.
That is interesting. How would you evaluate his pass rush when he was moved down even in base?
Well, it wasn't really a pass rush.
It was just against run,
situation,
right?
Yeah. It wasn't pin your ears back and go get the quarterback.
Good point. All right, so that's interesting that they didn't use him in the nickel, especially with Ojulari out. You would have thought that would have been the case.
The other thing that really stood out to me was how much Carson Wentz worked outside the numbers in this game. I mean, he threw 28 balls outside the numbers, and they were really effective working outside the numbers in this game. Mm-hmm. I mean, 28 balls throwing outside the numbers is a lot of throws, and he was 16 for 28 for 233, and he had the one really bad interception on that reckless throw down the field. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Eagles fans are like, that's the Carson Wentz we know and love, especially when he's playing for the other team. But for the most part, it really worked effectively working outside the numbers.
All right. Wow. I'm interested to see what Greg thinks of. And we know the pass rush has been great, but Jalen Carter, Greg, and I'm sure we'll get into it. What were your thoughts about Jalen Carter? Because that sack they had on Wentz, and the hit for the interception, that was a he-man play. He looked so good. Did he look physically back?
No, I would say that he had just a couple of plays where you said that's Jalen Carter, but I don't think, snap after snap after snap was he a dominant player. Obviously, on that interception return, which, Jeff, I'm sure we're going to see, that was fascinating for many reasons. I'll leave that till we see it just because, it's better if people see what the look was. And by the way, I think that was the first time I can recall seeing that, and I don't think they came back to that look the rest of the game, which in some way surprised me, but I'm certainly not as smart as Vic Fangio, so I'm not going to sit here and say, gee, why didn't he do it? That's bad. He knows way much more than I do, but I was fascinated by that look and how it played out. And Adam, you're right, on that play, he was a man. But he didn't have a lot, and again, no tackle's going to have 20 of those plays in a game, but I didn't think he was a dominant force. What do you guys think? Did you think he was a dominant force?
My takeaway without watching every single defensive snap was that he played better than the last few weeks.
That's what I thought. But
I think to your point, he had some really vicious hits, like 2 or 3, that made it seem like he was doing that all day. Does that sound fair? Like the flashiness of it, where when he did make a hit, it was a pretty impactful one.
But it wasn't, again, no D tackle, like I said.
Right. You know, have 15
maybe Aaron Donald here and there, but no tackle has 25, oh my God, dominant plays. The game doesn't work like that. But I thought he was better this week, but still not the Jalen Carter we know he can be.
Well, on that point, Jeff, as you sent it back to you here, that going forward for them is just that the Giants game this week will be the last game before the bye. It's a major self-scout challenge for Clint Hurt, Vic Fangio, and Jeremiah Washburn somehow to find more pass rush, and obviously Howie Roseman to add one or two players going forward, whether it's trade, street free agents, or both, because their pass rush comparatively to last season, I mean, it's just much worse. And I don't know how, unless Carter gets himself all the way back physically, because he's got the shoulder now, the heel. I just don't know what they can do internally because they're running out of players.
It has to be schemed because the players are the players. Yeah. They're not all of a sudden going to be, Jalix Hunt, is a nice player for what he is, but obviously he's not yet a pass rusher. Ojulari's now, it's a hamstring, so we don't know what his status is. Uche, solid, but not dominant, by any means. So they really don't have that guy on the edge. There's no one you have to game plan for on the edge when you play the Eagles.
All right, so last question on that, because we've talked every week about Vic's blitz percentage.
And it was low this week.
It was low this week. So this was another coverage game then.
Yeah, I mean, they had some four-man sim pressures, which they probably categorize as pressures because that's what teams do. But he did not rush 5. I don't think he rushed 5 more than 5 or 6 times in the game. And obviously Wentz had a lot of dropbacks.
All right. Well, then let's start taking a look at the film here to see what we've got.
Hey, you know that one guy in the group chat who hit a 5-leg parlay week 1 and he wouldn't shut up about it for the rest of the season? Sounds like Kaplan, right? Yeah, it could be him. It could be you, and we would all want to be you. MyBookie makes it stupid easy to get in on the action, whether it's college ball, NFL, super contest, and survivor pools, all the spreads, player props, and in-game lines that you could want all under one roof. What more could you want than that? If you're new to MyBookie, use our code, THEBIRDS, THEBIRDS, the birds. Use the code, and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your bet back bonus token. There is no better time to jump in right now. No better place to play. Football is back. Let's make some money with MyBookie.
Sports are all about competition. Every snap, every possession, every clutch moment matters. That same energy is what 1v1 Me brings to video games. Every single day, you can watch and stake on matchups in Madden, NBA 2K, FC, and Call of Duty Search and Destroy. All the games are streamed live. Every match has refs, and payouts are instant. And these aren't just random online lobbies. These are the best players in the scene, pros, streamers, and rivals. With season playoffs and the championship game on the line, every game matters. Over $100 million has already been paid out on the app, and the community is growing fast. If you're a sports fan, a gamer, or just someone who loves having a little extra on the line, 1v1 Me is where you need to be. It's not just about winning, it's about the bragging rights too. Every match has a chat going crazy, and you can back your picks in real time. Download today and use code BIRDS. Your first stake on the app is risk-free. That's code BIRDS for a risk-free first stake. And I believe the first play is this is the Jordan Addison 34-yard reception. And I just wanted to, he got very open, Greg, and I just wanted you to diagnose what you thought they were doing here.
They were just, don't run it yet. This was cover 8, which means they were playing cover 2 to the wide side of the field. Okay. So cover 8 means it's quarters to the boundary and it's cover 2 to the wide side of the field. So basically it's almost the kind of play where Kevin O'Connell anticipated what he might get because he runs 2 verticals to the wide side of the field. So it essentially becomes a 2-on-1 on Andrew Nakobe because the corner is a flat player in cover 2. So it's 2-on-1 versus Nakobe. Now, we can sit here and say he should have reacted better to Addison, but that's Jefferson running right at him until he breaks it off. And Jefferson runs a good, 15 yards before he breaks inside? So Nakobe, he's kind of stuck here. This is actually a crappy throw. If he makes a really good throw, this might have had a different result.
Right.
A better result for the Vikings and a worse result for the Eagles. But it becomes a 2-on-1 on Nakobe. So again, I don't know how they coach him. Maybe he's supposed to expand a little more and play a little more midpoint of it because Blankenship has no go back. If you freeze it, there's no number 2 on Blankenship's side attacking him. So maybe the feeling is with Nakobe that he's got to expand a little more and that Blankenship becomes a factor on Jefferson's vertical. But still, it's Jefferson running right at you. So I don't know how they coach it, but it essentially plays out as a 2-on-1 on Nakobe.
Right. All right. So that's basically how a guy can get open like that.
Right. This is not a bust.
Right.
So people understand that. Now, it
was a crappy. You're right about that.
Well, and again, I don't know exactly how they coach it because I remember speaking with Matt Bowen numerous times, and he would always talk about certain plays, and I wish I could remember specifically about, hey, you got to be 2 yards inside the numbers, you got to be 2 yards inside the hash, you got going through different coverages when you're a deep player. So I don't remember specifically. So maybe he did not play it properly, but it's not a bust in the way people think about busts.
Right. You're right. That was a crappy throw. I think this would be the alternative angle to that. I believe.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's a bad throw.
Yeah, because that actually could have been a touchdown if he threw it to the correct shoulder, I guess.
Correct. If he threw it where he should have, it who knows what would have happened. Then Nakobe would have had to made a tackle, and unfortunately he's been missing a few down the field in the last couple of weeks.
He has.
Open field, bad.
So this is the first big Carson Wentz blunder, the interception that Jalix Hunt is going to get in return.
Is it tough? I mean, look, the bottom line is Wentz didn't process this, but we've seen quarterbacks. I've talked to Kurt Warner about this, and he said the toughest thing for him was always when a defensive lineman or a first-level defender dropped out because you just don't expect it. It's just not something that you automatically think about.
Mahomes had the pick to Devin Lloyd. He just didn't expect it, right?
Yeah, I mean, but anyway, the point is, look at this front. That's Jalen Carter, who's kind of off the ball in a 3-point stance. Okay, I don't recall seeing this look this year. I don't want to say that. Maybe I missed it one time, but I don't recall seeing this look. Do you guys?
No, not at all.
Okay. So again, they did it for a reason. Vic's we won't be ringing me up after we're done. So, I don't know what the reason is.
Oh, he's not.
No.
I'm just kidding.
But, so they did this intentionally because the center is not very good in pass protection. And now they get him one-on-one because it's essentially a 5-man front, even though he's a little off the ball. It almost reminds me of the old Dallas flex. Remember that? The
flex
Tom
defense,
Landry, where they have 2 guys literally off the ball. So anyway, so he gets one-on-one on the center, and he just kicks his ass, quite frankly. And so what they do is it becomes a sim pressure. They drop out the 2 outside defenders, and it's a sim pressure with Bond becoming the 4th rusher. Okay. So what happens now is Wentz, he's not responding to Carter here. He thinks he's got Jefferson wide open on the quick slant. Okay. Thinks he's wide open, which he basically is. He does not process Hunt at all. Now it looks great like Carter makes this play, but Wentz is throwing this ball regardless of Carter. He's already in his motion. It's just he takes a shot because of Carter.
Right.
Which obviously I'm sure didn't feel great. But Carter
broken his ribs there.
Yeah, but Carter is sitting right in the lane, and it becomes an interception return for a touchdown.
Yep, was a nice move. I mean, I guess that center got benched after the holding.
That club move. Wow.
Yeah, and then Jalix Hunt is off to the races. It's funny, the Eagles do not have an interception this year from a cornerback. All of their interceptions are from safeties and front level players. This is from the other side of it, Greg. To your point, I think you get a better angle on what Carson Wentz is.
And you see Campbell, in the 5-man front here. He's on the edge, but he drops out.
Yep. You're right. He was throwing that regard. He just didn't see.
Yeah, he's throwing that regardless. He didn't process Hunt. Like I said, when an edge player on the ball drops out, some quarterbacks don't process it. I mean, that was the original concept. and Dick LeBeau didn't create it, and he'd be the first to tell you he didn't create it. But that was the original concept behind the zone blitz concept. Back in the day when it was kind of new in the league and it wasn't used very much, you'd see that a good amount where quarterbacks had no idea that a first level defender would drop out and they throw it to him. You know, I mean, because it just wasn't expected.
All right, this is just I don't know how you would describe it other than bonehead. I mean, it's 2nd and 27, and
You're talking about this interception that he throws.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the philosophy on 2nd and 27 is you're hoping to get 9 to 12 yards so that you can make your third down a little more manageable.
These are the kind of plays that, unfortunately, they haven't happened hardly at all since Wentz has started 4 games, by the way, and he's probably going to start a 5th game because they play Thursday night. So I doubt McCarthy's playing Thursday night. But this is the kind of play that, unfortunately, fans in Philly got used to a little too often, which he hasn't really done this year very much at all.
Right.
And I'm not in Carson Wentz's head, so you can look at this play and go, oh, I think I understand why he threw it, but there's no point in doing this.
Right. The Eagles got a decent 4-man rush, I believe, on this play.
Well, I think he just kind of took off. See, he takes off. So I don't know if this was a designed roll or if he just said, oh, shoot, I'm in the end zone and I'm getting out of there. I don't know.
Good point.
So right now, he's not registering Nakobe at all. He's thinking that he's got, and what receiver is that up top? He's thinking he's got him running across the field, just with one defender. I don't know if that's Jefferson. I can't remember.
I think that's Addison, but it looks like he thinks he's got him on a deep over, I guess.
Yeah, and he thinks it's clean. He doesn't. He didn't process Nakobe at all.
No, and that was
Addison.
Yep. Yeah.
So I mean, there's no great tactical point about that. That was just, as I said, Eagles fans thinking Wentz is being Wentz.
Yeah. So here's a scramble play by Carson. I think it's going to be incomplete, but I thought the alignment here by the Eagles, Greg, I believe that's Jalen Carter over right tackle as an edge. Another different alignment from
it is. We've seen them do this a couple of times. That's not the first time I've seen Jalen Carter on the edge.
I don't know. In this game, I think that was the only time they did it, but you're right. They've done it occasionally.
Yeah, they do it on occasion.
What do you think that the goal is? That just to throw a different look, you think, or is there something schematic here that
that'd be a wide nine, right?
Well, I think first of all, by the nature of the front, they're getting him one-on-one on the tackle, and they probably feel that he can win one-on-one on the tackle. That's why Josh Uche's inside of him, because the right tackle's eyes are on Uche, and and with the back offset to the other side, they're thinking they're getting a one-on-one with Carter, which they probably think Carter can win.
Right. Do you think that maybe the Vikings are expecting a stunt there when you have an edge on the outside and an edge on the inside and a tackle on the outside?
Very possible. Yeah, very possible.
You see how we kind of I guess because Uche doesn't come, but then the right guard, that's interesting. The right guard, Uche comes late there, or either that or he just saw Carson scrambling and tried to.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, Ajomo did a nice job with his pass rush.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like the Eagles got more interior rush in this game than exterior. Yeah, Jomo did beat him pretty good.
Yep. Brendel, 64. He had a rough day.
I just wanted to show that because Jalen Carter lined up on the outside, and even though they have done it before, it's not.
They have done it before,
but I never. And they had the way they had Uche inside made me think that they were trying to fool the Vikings into think a stunt.
Well, I think that Dick knows that they're not generating pass rush, and I'm sure he's looking for different fronts. He didn't want to blitz, obviously, in this game. We'll see what happens in the next game. He's been week to week in that regard. It's hard to, hey, I'm not a big fan, Joe. I don't know what his thought process is as to why one week there is pressure and another week there's not. But in this game, he clearly chose not to pressure with 5. So you're going for different front looks where you feel that you can win one-on-ones or maybe create some confusion.
Yeah. Now, this is the third quarter here. The Eagles are only up by 8. It's 14-6. You mentioned their red zone defense came through, and Carson's going to have an intentional grounding here as it looks like Patrick Johnson was the guy that got some. So the
answer a lot of snaps in this game because Ojulari was out.
Yep. Right. Yep. They remember they only had 3 edges left.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, this is actually a really good job by Uche too, because he's reading potential screen here. Because look at him. If you go back to the beginning of this play, Jeff, look at Uche.
He's across left tackle for those who want to know or listening.
Look at him.
Oh yeah, he thought that was a screen.
Yep.
So he drifts back, plays it.
And actually, it might have been because that's where Wentz is looking into the flat. So it might not be a screen, but he's looking into the flat.
Right. And Ajomo does a nice job beating a double team and collapsing the pocket there.
Yeah, that was – I don't know what Wentz was thinking there either because there was no – again, they kicked a field goal. It was third down.
Right. And now here they're up 21-16. And
this is a great play by Ajomo.
This was the red zone sack by Ajomo.
This is I mean, he wins here big time.
So to your point, Vic really doesn't blitz a whole lot this game. He's relying on his pressure. He doesn't get a lot of.
This was the first loaded front in the game. It was 3rd and 5 in the fourth quarter. It was their first loaded front in the game. Ajomo slanted inside from his 2 technique alignment and beat the offensive center Brandel. Uche was deployed as a spy on Wentz, and the Eagles played 2-man coverage here.
Yep, there you see Uche kind of hold up his pass rush and be the spy, but not necessary because Ajomo beats his guy. Yeah, the Eagles, they didn't get a lot of edge rush. They got more interior rush, and they seemed to get it when they needed it most in the red zone.
Yeah, so Ajomo is the 2 technique over the left guard, and then he slants inside, so he attacks the center. And
King's
then
in, by the way.
Club move right there to beat him.
Yep, that's their 3rd string center, right, Adam?
No, Brandel. Technically, they had the kid we talked about leading in who got benched. He had an injury, but yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. And then last but not least, this is the Uche sack where it kind of puts the Vikings way behind the 8 ball. They had a chance to tie the game here. It was 28-22. Does Carson walk himself into this sack, or is it good defense by the Eagles, Greg? There's a stunt.
Let me see it again because this again came out of a loaded front.
All right. So there's the loaded front. It looks like there's a stunt at the top.
Yeah, it probably is because Campbell's on the ball, so he's occupying the left guard.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Yep.
Yeah, there's a stunt.
Short stunt. Yep.
I guess, I mean, if you're Carson, you've got number 1 going across the middle there.
Well, he's initially looking to his right. I don't know if the design of this play was the stick not go by Hawkinson, and it just seemed, it took a little too long.
Uh-huh.
And it was well covered. And then he didn't really have a chance to throw to the shallow coming in his vision. He just didn't have time. He didn't have a chance.
Right. No, this was good. I felt like the Eagles pass rush was more timely than it was consistent. Red zone, when they needed to play, they got it.
He's clearly looking right. I think he's looking for the stick nod.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like.
And then he looks outside just because the stick nod's not happening.
Right.
And then he felt pressure. He felt bodies around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Uche's able to chase him down from behind there.
Hey, fall is planting season. Did you know that many plants and trees actually do better when planted this time of the year? But you got to know where to start, and that's why I love fastgrowingtrees.com. Doesn't matter if you live in the sunny south or if the air's getting a little chilly where you are, the plant experts can help you find the perfect fit for your space. They've got everything your yard needs: fruit trees, privacy trees, shrubs, flowering trees, so much more. And Fast Growing Trees makes it so easy for you to have your dream yard because you can order online and get your plants delivered directly to your door. If you're like me, you're tired of spending way too much money on landscaping. And if you walk into one of those nurseries and you look at all the stuff they have, you have no idea where to begin. That's why you need fastgrowingtrees.com. Doesn't matter about the size of your yard. They got over 6,000 plants to fit any space, and a 14-point quality checklist ensures you will get the best quality plants possible. This fall, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code BIRDS at checkout. 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code BIRDS at checkout. Now's the perfect time to plant. Use BIRDS to save today. The offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Check out the link below or in the show notes and support the show.
Hey, Philly fans, game day is stressful enough. Parking, traffic, long lines. We've all been there. But when it comes to your cannabis, Camden Apothecary makes it easy. This is the dispensary for sports fans, just minutes outside of Philly with plenty of free parking. You'll be in and out fast, no hassle, no waiting. And they don't just care about convenience. Camden Apothecary is all about the guest experience. Their staff makes sure you feel taken care of every time you walk in. Plus, they carry only the best quality cannabis at the fairest prices. So whether you're stocking up for the tailgate, the watch party, or celebrating a big win, you know you're getting the good stuff without overpaying. They even show love to the community with specials for fans, students, service members, and healthcare pros. Camden Apothecary, top quality cannabis, great prices, and an experience made for Philly fans 21 and up. So I think that's a good way to describe it. It wasn't an imposing pass rush, but it was timely.
Yeah, I mean, they had the two, red zone sacks. Look, watching the game, live, I mean, there was a sense that, it looked like the Vikings could well come back and win this game. It didn't seem like, this game was in the bag by any means.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, hey, there's only 17 games. You want to win them. They did some good things, certainly on offense. I think defense, I don't want to say concerns, but things that they're going to have to try to figure out. They're going to have to try to get pressure on the quarterback somehow. It's not happening anywhere near the consistency they would want it to happen. So now now to me, again, I think now it becomes incumbent on the coaching staff. How do you try to create pressure? Because all of a sudden tomorrow, these guys are not going to become great pass rushers.
Right.
True.
So, you've got to, and again, it's also opponent specific. I mean, they're playing Jackson Dart. I know the Giants beat them 2 weeks ago, but Dart's not necessarily a precision pocket player at this point in time,
right.
But if you're playing one of those guys, that might become an issue.
Oh, how did Nakobe Dean look to you? He played a lot.
He did play a lot. I kind of like the way he plays. I mean, I think he's really good in the run game. He shoots gaps really well. He's got a feel for that. He plays downhill. That's how I noticed him in this game.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they chose the opportunity especially to be able to move Campbell around a little bit.
Right.
Get his feet wet on defense. Last week it was special teams.
Right.
This week it's on defense, and it gives Vic that optionality.
Look, I can tell you for a fact from talking to coaches in the building that they thought Dean last year, till he got hurt, like the last 7-8 weeks of the season, played really high-level football. So it's not like they're putting a guy out there that they don't think can play. Right, I mean, they really thought he played high-level football last year down the stretch.
I'm just glad that he's back from a devastating knee injury, worse than an ACL. I mean, patellar tendon is bad, but good story. I'll be interested to see what they do with Campbell, because Greg said, folks, if you missed it earlier, Campbell you might have thought he was really an edge rusher. He really wasn't in this game.
Right.
So, Jeff, if Ojulari isn't ready for Sunday and they have not made a trade by Wednesday, when they start practicing for this game, I don't know what they're going to do, because the only guy they have in the practice squad has never played in the game, and he's already been cut once. That's Powell Riley.
Right.
As we speak here.
Yeah.
No.
Powell
Riley for Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Campbell still played every snap but 9 in this game. It's not like Campbell got taken off the field in a meaningful way. So it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward. Maybe now, look, normally, I mean, obviously Mitchell did play this week, so his hamstring injury couldn't have been major. But assuming Ojulari is out, he's probably not going to be able to practice, first of all. Even if it's not serious, he probably won't be able to practice. We'll see. The question is, will they give Campbell more reps and try to use him more as a pass rusher? They probably didn't do that last week because Ojulari was okay. So now will they try to do that this week, in case – because don't forget, one more injury and, to a pass rusher, Campbell's going to have to be the pass rusher.
Yeah.
Or, they could always bring Javon Curse back.
Imagine. Or Brandon Graham.
Yes, but who knows when he'd be ready to practice, even practice.
Yeah, but even if that were to happen, he's not going to be ready to play this week.
I know.
Come on.
And played none.
So, he's not playing this week no matter what. So, Yeah, and again, I don't know what their feeling is about the Virginia Tech kid, Powell Ryland. I mean, he was an interesting guy when I did his tape. And again, I'm not saying he would step into the NFL and be a factor, but he was one of those guys that when you looked at his physical traits, he doesn't check the boxes per se, but he seemed to have a knack for rushing the quarterback. There's always those guys that just sometimes seem to have a knack. Again, I don't know if that would translate to the league. That's what he looked like in college. But he doesn't have the physical traits you ideally desire.
I think the reality is, and you said it earlier when we showed it, I think Patrick Johnson would be the one who probably sees the uptick.
I agree.
In reps. And he actually seems to flash when he plays. So that'll be something that.
And he's got pretty good size, too. He's not look, the bottom line is, I'm assuming I don't watch special teams. You guys may know more than I do. He must be a good special teams player. He's on the roster every year.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he is. That's his deal. Number 48.
Yeah, so he's on the roster every year. So he's there. Yeah.
Tulane. Did you like him a little bit from Tulane, right? Is he from Tulane?
Patrick Johnson?
Coastal Carolina, I thought he was.
Coastal Carolina. Okay.
Wait, I could be wrong with that. I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Tulane, wasn't
You're right. It is Tulane. Yeah.
Tulane.
I liked him coming out. Because they actually had two guys. I think the other guy was Cam Sample, who's on the Bengals, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. He's like a fourth edge rusher.
Yeah. But I like Patrick Johnson.
Nice.
Good stuff. All right. We might be talking about him next week when we do Inside the Tape coming off the next Giants game. But for now, that is the Vikings defensive tape for Greg Cosell and Adam Kaplan. I'm Jeff Mosher, and you've been watching Inside the Tape on Inside the Birds.